Our story starts with Kalia Popalzai, an Afghan refugee escaping from the war in Afghanistan and moving to Italy with her siblings. Kalia came from a good family. Her father was a scholar and her mother was a doctor. Their father was strict and insisted that all of his children have the best education that they could get their hands on. After losing their mother in 2013 to the car bombing in Kabul, they decided as a family that it was time to leave Afghanistan. After 5 years of careful planning, they were about to escape the country that they had once called their home. Because Mr. Popalzai was a scholar, the Taliban had kept a close eye on him and was aware of his current plan. Mr. Popalzai was caught moments after he had snuck out his kids from the country. This meant that the Popalzai kids were now unfortunately orphans. They walked for miles and miles in Turkmenistan to finally reach the southern parts of the country. They got on a boat that took them to Baku in Azerbaijan. This would be their first boat rides of their life, but also the first of many more. After they got off the boat in Azerbaijan, they took a bus to Armenia and eventually they found their way to Turkey. Using a variety of transportation methods, they finally found their way to Izmir, a southern coastal city with ports and accesses to European countries such as Italy. And thus their second boat ride started. They got on the boat in Turkey and they went all the way to Italy. Their father had met Mr. Lucia many summers ago when they were working together on a project. After losing his wife back in 2013, Mr. Popalzai knew it was best to call Mr. Lucia and ask him for his help. The Lucias had opened up their home to the Popalzai family. They took them in and they gave them new clothes, they gave them new beds, and they gave them a new start to life. It was here that Kalia met Valentina, the granddaughter of Mr. Lucia. Valentina had always been a shy girl, but something clicked inside of her when she met Kalia. From that moment on, those two became inseparable. Because Kalia looked quite different from everyone else in the city of Napoli, she was always getting bullied by her peers. She didn't have blonde hair or she didn't have colorful eyes, and she knew that this was no reason to be bullied, but that didn't make it hurt any less. Valentina saw what was going on and she rushed to defend her friend. They had become very close, and she wasn't too happy about the fact that her best friend was being bullied. But because Kalia's bullies were actually Valentina's quite close friends, she had to turn her back on kids that she had known for years. This also led to Valentina being bullied, but in this case it was Kalia who rushed to Valentina's side. They had found each other through the strangest of circumstances, and they had built a friendship based on trust and love. What made their friendship unique was the fact that it had no boundaries and that it wasn't forced. They just wanted to be friends, and therefore they were. Their friendship carried on for years and years, and they never lost touch. They always kept a special place in their hearts for each other.